Have you ever thought about what it would take to build an entire society from the ground up? I mean, a world that blends spirituality, politics, and power, and then turns the whole thing into a game? Well, today we're going deep inside a place that does just that. It's called the community, and it's a world where every single action gets a score, and the endgame isn't about winning, it's about something called ascension. Let's get into it.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to peel this thing back like an onion, in 5 layers. First, we'll look at the basic game itself, then the powerful family dynasties you can build. After that, the political factions running the show, the key players at the very top, and finally, the core belief system that holds the entire structure together.
All right, so first things first, what do you actually do in the community? What does it feel like to be a member? Well, at its heart, it's a game with some very, very real stakes.
And you don't have to look far to find the core idea. One of its founders, the first luminary, summed it up perfectly. When asked what the community is, the answer was just one word: gamification. The entire thing is a system designed to take personal growth, teamwork, and even ethics, and channel it all through a framework of quests, points, and rewards. So what makes it all go? What's the engine? It's something called focus points, or FP for short. Just think of it like a universal currency, but for influence and achievement. Every single thing you do, every quest you finish, every contribution you make, earns you FP. It's the ultimate measure of your impact, and it's the key to everything. And how do you climb the social ladder? Well, it's all about those focus points. Everyone starts at the bottom as a peasant, but as you grind it out and rack up FP, you can rise to become a commoner, then a prefect who actually leads other commoners. And if you're really good, you might just earn a spot as a court member, advising the top brass. Now, let's move on, because individual progress is just the start. In the community, you don't just build yourself up, you can build an entire dynasty. And this is where it gets serious. To form a bloodline, which is the most powerful family unit you can have, the price of entry is incredibly steep. You need a super rare item called the blood scepter. You have to donate a staggering 1 million focus points. And even then, you need the official sign-off from both the court and the absolute highest authority, the High Tribunal. If you manage all that, you're crowned the Blood King. And as a bloodline gets bigger, its power just explodes. At stage 1, all your members get a massive 150% bonus on their earnings. By stage 2, that bonus gets even bigger, and you unlock new systems like diplomacy and trade. But stage 3, that's the real prize. That's monarchy. This is where your bloodline gets something called political presence, which means you can literally start proposing new rules for the entire community. And that's the perfect transition to our next layer, the political arena. I mean, if these bloodlines can propose rules, who are they proposing them to? Well, they're engaging with the 3 great orders, the major political factions that are all competing for control. Okay, so there are 3 main players on the field, and each one is led by one of the 3 founders who make up the High Tribunal. You've got Michael's Order, under the red banner, which is all about spiritual growth. Then there's Charles IV's Order, with the gold banner, focused on ambition and building a kingdom. And finally, Sir Lancelot's Order, flying the blue banner, which is all about self-mastery and wisdom. So, how do these orders actually fight it out? Well, they use a resource called political presence. You can think of it as the collective power level of all the members of an order, all added together. The more powerful your members are, and the more political proposals or resolutions you get passed, the more your order can literally shape the laws of the community. All this talk of political struggle, it kind of leads to one obvious question, right? With all this competition for power and influence, who's really pulling the strings? At the very, very top, you have the High Tribunal. These are the 3 founders, the visionaries. They set the direction, but they don't get their hands dirty with the day-to-day stuff. For that, they have the court, a group of elite administrators who execute the vision and basically manage the whole system. And being a member of this court comes with some serious perks, including a power so big it can change everything overnight: subjugation. This is an ability that allows a courtier to literally attempt a hostile takeover of another family's house or even an entire bloodline. Now, trying a subjugation is a massive, massive gamble. It all plays out in 3 phases. First, it's a test of focus points and social clout, or charisma. Then, a raw comparison of pure power levels. If the attacker wins every single phase, they become the new overlord. But the stakes for failure are huge. Lose even one phase and you get hit with massive penalties. Lose them all and you can be demoted and forced to serve the very Blood King you just tried to conquer. Talk about high risk, high reward. Okay, we've looked at the game, the families, the politics, the insane power plays. But this whole complex system, it just begs one final question. What is it all for? What's the ultimate goal that's driving this entire community? Right. After peeling back all these layers, we finally get to the center. Why would anyone build a world this complicated? What's the point? And the answer is found right here, in Scripture. The entire foundation of the community is theological. It's built on a Christian mandate to gather together in His name. This is called the divine mandate. You can think of it as the constitution for this whole world. It's the ultimate law, and it states that every system we've talked about, the points, the politics, all of it, is anchored to a singular divine authority, which was received by the founder, known only as the mediator. And this mandate runs on a really wild principle. They call it the probability paradox. And put simply, it means that within this system, collective belief literally changes reality. Faith isn't just a feeling, it's a force of nature. The more people who believe something will happen, the more probable it becomes that it will happen. And that's when you realize the end game isn't about winning or getting the highest score. The whole thing, the entire gamified system, is just a framework. It's a training ground designed for a collective spiritual journey, preparing its members for a reality beyond the game itself. A reality where the High Tribunal's authority only ends when Christ returns. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. Is the community just a really complex social experiment, pushing the limits of what you can do with gamification? Or is it a truly sincere spiritual quest, using the language of a game to try and map a path toward the divine? Well, that's for you to decide.